We've seen this happen in the past, and it's possible that it happens once again. Can we see the Maple Leafs making Mitch Marner, who is a forward, a defenseman? And honestly speaking, this could work out really well, but to consider this possibility, let's just start by reviewing a unique event that occurred in the Maple Leafs game against the Montreal Canadiens on Wednesday night. The team had lost two defensemen in Jordy Ben and Carl Dahlstrom to injuries, and head coach Sheldon Keefe decided to put Carl Jarnkrok and Alex Kerfoot on the blue line, and both performed very, very well. And we knew that both Jarnkrok and Kerfoot were hybrid center slash wingers, but until Wednesday, it wasn't really just clear how hybrid the two players were. Since it was an emergency, Jarnkrok and Kerfoot answered the bell, and they did so in a good timing. But again, this only happened once, so it's a really small sample size, and there could have just been luck involved as to why they played so well. But I was more shocked to see that the Canadians didn't even go after the two forwards on Wednesday. Or maybe they did, but again, they weren't just really successful in doing so because they didn't even take advantage of the situation. But let's just take a look back at the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs for a minute, and I'm going to sidetrack from the Maple Leafs for just a bit. Let's take a look at Cale Makar for 1 second. Everyone knows who that is. I'm not even going to have to explain who he is. But one has to ask whether Cale Makar might be the new breed of NHL defenseman. He has a very solid skill set, but also in many ways, he has the offensive instincts of a forward. During the Colorado Avalanche's march to the Stanley Cup, although Nathan MacKinnon might have led the way, defenseman Makar held his coming out party. He unanimously won the Conn Smythe Trophy. It was deserved, of course, and Makar scored 8 goals and 21 assists in just 20 playoff games as his Avalanche team basically dethroned the Tampa Bay Lightning. But Makar plays a very different type of defense. It's like shades of Bobby Orr, essentially, or at least that's the way Wayne Gretzky called it during the Avalanche's Stanley Cup run. And if youngsters who are playing hockey are watching, there will be lots of attempts to emulate Makar's approach to playing the back end. But the real question is whether Coach Keefe was also watching and thinking, and was his slotting of his two forwards onto the defense in Wednesday's game was just a one-off or a chance to test a new plan of action. So let's get back to Marner here, as we know he's already one of the best offensive players in the game. Undoubtedly, he's been one of the best Maple Leafs for the past 2-3 years, maybe even longer than that. But during this training camp, he's been spending some time practicing as a blue liner. Although Marner is a 200-foot player who brings solid defense both in 5-on-5 and on the penalty kill, it's very surprising to see that he's taking reps as a defenseman. And Maple Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe put it this way, that there could be opportunities in games where he might want to give him a look on defense, whether we're trying to score a goal or playing from behind or whatever the case may be. That's something we'll continue to look at throughout the preseason and make a determination from there on how we might use it. And what's really interesting about all this talk about hybrid hockey players is that it opens up a number of interesting possibilities about how the Maple Leafs lineup basically could be constructed. Marner has a very unique skill set, and it puts him squarely in the middle of any conversation about how to move a forward to the blue line. Plus, he has a very good hockey sense. He anticipates the opponent's moves incredibly well, and he's very quick to transition off a mistake. He's a great puck mover, and he thinks disruption hockey because he's already playing a key role on the team's penalty kill. Perhaps this is all just talk and speculation fueled by Wednesday's successful using of defensemen in the game against Montreal, or perhaps it could be an opportunity to put a band-aid on the team's injury status on defense. However, I think that it might be more of a long-term type of plan, because Marner, who by the way would be a desperately needed right-handed shot, took some reps alongside Morgan Reilly at practice on Thursday, and Reilly had to say that I think he would be considered an offensive defenseman. He's able to contribute in that way, and we're open to trying anything. And even Sheldon Keefe himself said that he has clips of Marner playing on defense, and he also added that even though he's a forward on the shift, he's in the defensive spot and quarterbacking things, and at times even defending. And so therefore, this could be an actually successful change in the lineup, and I honestly think that there's no harm in trying to do that. But for those fans interested in what happens when Marner's place as a top 6 forward, his move to the blue line during practice will give William Nylander a chance to jump on the line with Austin Matthews and Michael Bunting. The Maple Leafs, of course, have one of the best offenses in the game that's been known for some time, but there's also possibility that they may be trying to create an offensive blue line as well. And Keefe noted that he and other NHL coaches are more open to different ideas, but is Coach Keefe really beginning a new way to think about player development in hockey, or is this just an older idea? Because if you go all the way back to 1997, the Detroit Red Wings were down defenseman, and head coach Scotty Bowman moved Hall of Famer Sergei Fedorov to the defense for about 15 games. And the season that Fedorov was a defenseman, the Red Wings would actually end up winning the Stanley Cup. And one of Fedorov's teammates was Maple Leafs president Brendan Shanahan, which was pretty funny enough. But either way, this will be a very intriguing topic to see if Mitch Marner actually becomes a defenseman. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this potential move. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a wonderful day.